And the first question we always ask of all of the panelists is, what makes you optimistic? John, what makes you optimistic?
Experience makes me optimistic, Victor. If you've been around for any length of time, you must have noticed yourself that things turn out for the good a ridiculous amount of the time, more than anybody has any right to expect, and certainly more than could be justified, I think, by a pessimistic worldview. I have not led a sheltered life, very far from it, but the number of times you just fall on your feet, particularly if you're willing to follow your heart a little bit and take chances a little bit, is beyond any statistical level of reasonable. And therefore, I think you have to be an optimist.
Fantastic. Rob Masters, what makes you an optimist?
People overall, because the way they've responded in the current pandemic, I think, has been overwhelming good in the way they've actually adopted to a greater extent optimism. So I'm very enthused by the way people actually respond to the challenges.
Sue Barrett, what makes you an optimist?
Human ingenuity, I think, and their ability to find opportunity even in crisis. When crisis comes, it creates pressure and creates cracks. And then what happens is things start to emerge. And then those people who can see that start to adapt things. I heard a great story this morning about a guy who they do a lot of stuff for the mining sector, are now making ventilators. And they're, and bringing back more regional manufacturing. So, yeah, there's a lot of ingenuity, and I think human beings do find a pathway forward, and working together is one of our key strengths, I believe.
Super. Jeff, what makes you optimistic?
Thanks, Victor. What makes me optimistic is the creativity and energy that comes from, and particularly we're seeing that now, that comes from setting aside differences of any kind, including generational differences, and the energy that's created, innovation that's created by younger generations mixing with older generations, and all sorts of people of all difference coming together around the same thing. And we've seen that now, fantastic solutions to some really challenging problems.